If you have seen my last video about my investment mistakes in the past, then you know that I'm barely invested into individual stocks anymore. The main reasons being that it takes too much time to research, while you probably aren't even going to get the same returns as a simple passive index fund. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now, investing in passive index funds or ETFs. An ETF is an exchange traded fund. Basically, this is a basket full of stocks or other securities that tracks the value of the underlying assets. Think of it like a bowl of fruit. There are some apples in there, but also some bananas and some kiwis. And the entire fruit bowl costs 20 euros. After 2 days, the banana goes stale, so that's not great. But meanwhile, the kiwis and the apples have ripened further, so their value increases. And as a result, you can still sell the entire basket for example, 22 euros. And now you have made a profit, even though the banana went stale. And while it is a dumb example, this is exactly how an ETF works, and it has 3 major advantages. The first one is that you are diversifying. Had you bought only bananas, then there would have been a chance that all of your bananas would have gone stale, and you would have been left with nothing besides rotten bananas. The second big advantage is that it is quite liquid. You can sell a bowl of fruit quite easily. Or in the case of ETFs, you can sell it basically whenever the market is open, since it is listed on stock exchanges. The third major advantage is that it is very, very low cost, especially when compared to an actively managed fund. You know, the one your bank has probably tried to sell you the first time you ever got a paycheck. Or in the case of our fruit bowl, it naturally costs a lot less money to just buy a standard pre-made fruit bowl than it is to buy one where the seller will come back every now and then and try to guess which fruits will go stale and replace them with something else he plucked from his backyard. So which one do I personally buy? Well, that answer is actually pretty short. VWCE. Simon, why don't you just buy the S&P 500? Well, my friend, because I don't like it when all my fruit comes from a single farmer. While I don't doubt his skills to be able to grow great bananas, I wouldn't want to eat his apples, if that makes sense. Besides, even this ETF is still heavily weighed towards the United States. About 60% of the total assets are stocks or companies situated in the United States. You will see a lot of familiar, especially tech companies, in the top 10 holdings. And Simon, why don't you just buy VWRL instead? That one is the same fund and it gives a dividend, so it's nice for cash flow. True, but the dividends in my fund automatically get reinvested, so it's basically the same. Besides, especially in Belgium, since we have no capital gains tax, it's better to have a fund that doesn't give out a dividend. Dividends up until a certain point are exempt from tax, but I'm not going to go into Belgian fiscal policy here, because then this video would bore you to death. Of course, there are plenty of other ETFs to suit your investment needs. You can, for example, invest in ENIM to invest more into developing or emerging markets. You can invest, for example, in WTCH if you want to heavily invest into technology stocks. Or if you want to invest in a global clean energy ETF, you can put your money in INRG. Basically, think of whatever possible sector you could possibly want to invest in, and chances are there is an ETF available for that. However, what I want to say is that if you want the most consistent returns, I highly advise you to invest in a well-diversified global ETF. The more specific you go with your ETF, the more risk it carries. Take the clean energy one, for example. It did very poorly last year, even with a negative return, but it did have a nearly 120% return in 2020 and a 46% in 2019, which is absolutely huge. It is best to research the ETF that you want to buy to see what's in it. I'll leave a link down below as to where you can do that. How can you buy them? Well, the same as with any stock. You just look up on which stock exchange it is listed and then look for a broker that offers products from that exchange. Again, just click the link down below. In Belgium, for example, all major brokers offer VWCA, as well as the Giro or the Giro for other Europeans. As always, if you have any specific questions, then feel free to ask them down below. I will answer them whenever I can, or if you want me to cover a specific topic, just let me know. And don't forget to eat an apple or something. Bye.